Hello and welcome back to Doki Doki Dollmaker. We're going to jump right back in where we're still on our way back from the library. They rounded the corner close to home and Lyle stopped. Alright guys, you'll have to turn back into dolls now. Before Rook could whine in protest, Torian covered his mouth, sparing everyone's ears. Got it. Rook crossed his arms stubbornly before popping back into his plush form. Torian followed suit, his plush body falling to the pavement beside the smallest doll. See you again soon, Lyle. Thanks for taking us out. Ellery and Cavell's plush forms popped onto the pavement as well. We're finally alone. As if. Hurry up. Decifer snickered before following the others. Lyle shook his head with a small grin as he collected the dolls from the ground and placed them gently into his backpack. They were certainly a handful, but there was never a dull moment with them around. He thought Tilly would like them too. If only she believed me. He was determined to prove his story to her tomorrow. Lyle entered the house and kicked off his shoes. I'm home. Cole was nowhere to be found. Hello? Lyle was puzzled. He thought Cole would have been waiting for him at the door. His brother had always been very protective of him, but things had intensified after the loss of their parents. Cole was now Lyle's sole guardian, and he took his new role as caretaker the same way he did everything else, very seriously. Lyle wandered through the house until he spotted Cole in his new study, organizing some books. There you are. Hey, Squirt. Cole didn't seem upset by his late arrival. It was a good thing he'd left a note. Lyle knew his brother was under a lot of stress and didn't want to make him worry. Besides, the more at ease Cole felt, the easier it would be to hide the dolls from him. It's just courteous to leave the note. I mean, yeah. What you doing? Unpacking, obviously. I guess you haven't had time for that, huh? Well, you've had plenty of time and still haven't unpacked everything. What have you been doing these last few nights? Lyle hesitated to answer. Teaching 5 dolls turned human about the world wasn't the best reply, even if it was the honest one. Before he could think of what to say, Cole butted in. Never mind. I don't want to know. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? I shouldn't tease you. Everyone does it. Everyone does... It's not... Why would you... Why are you like this? Cole snickered as Lyle stormed out of the study in embarrassment. Is that what brothers are like? Lyle pulled the pillow from beneath his head with a groan and pitched it towards his alarm. The impact silenced the ear-piercing sound, and Lyle sighed in relief. One day he would get an alarm clock that managed to wake him up for school without giving him a heart attack first. He fantasized about replacing it with something fancy, like one of those cat clocks where the tail swishes back and forth. Very fancy. Lyle sat up in bed and looked around, wondering why he hadn't heard the doll's voice yet. They were nowhere to be found. He wasn't too concerned, though. Cole was already at work, so they had no reason to hide. Lyle changed into his school uniform. As he straightened his tie, he spotted a few half-empty boxes lying around his bedroom. I guess I'll finish unpacking tonight. He had been putting it off for long enough. He collected his school bag and made his way downstairs. As he approached the kitchen, he could hear the 5 dolls chatting with each other. He sure is taking his sweet time. I thought I heard his alarm go off. Why isn't he waking up then? He's never waking up again. He's going to sleep for 1,000,000 years. Really? No. I'm sure he'll be here any minute. Don't tease him, Torin. Lyle entered the kitchen with a laugh. 1,000,000 years, huh? Lyle! Good morning, Lyle. Slept well? I did, thanks. What's all this about? How long have you guys been up? We snuck out after Cole left early this morning. Thought we'd let you sleep in for as long as possible. Yes, we wanted to thank you for taking us to the library yesterday. It was the least we could do. Oh, that's nothing. We can go back any time. Any time? Not now. He's got school. Do you have to leave for school right now, Lyle? No, I still have some time. Have you guys eaten anything yet? I'll make some breakfast. Wait a sec. Isn't that girl gonna show up again today? Need us to hide, Lyle? I'm a good hider. Lyle paused for a moment. Actually, this is perfect. How so? I ran into Tilly at the library yesterday and I tried to tell her about you guys, but she didn't believe me. If you're all here when she barges in, she'll have no choice. I thought you didn't want her to know about us. Lyle just wants to show me off to his friends and make everyone jealous. I thought it'd be good to have another pair of eyes looking out for Cole. I'm sure Tilly would eventually find out on her own anyway. We might as well get it over with. Plus, it means less sneaking around for you guys. All of this was true, but there was more to it than that. Lyle felt like he owed it to Tilly. She was his first friend in this new place, and she'd really gone out of her way to make him feel welcome. He appreciated how she always spoke her mind and didn't sugarcoat anything. Traits he didn't have himself and always admired in others. He wanted to trust her. Yeah, I kinda agree with that. I also usually prefer people that are very upfront about anything, even if that can sometimes come across as rude. But yeah, I'd rather have someone who I know will tell me when something's bothering them or whatever, instead of, being nice to your face and then behind your back talking shit. So, yeah, I can vibe with that. That sounds like a great idea. I'll cut up some fruit while we wait for her to arrive. Lyle prepared scrambled eggs and toast for himself and the dolls. Paired with Ellery's decorative fruit, it made for a delicious meal. By the time they were finished eating, Tilly still hadn't arrived. Yeah, is she even gonna come over if she thinks that Lyle was telling her nonsense? Cavell glanced at his watch as they began to tidy up. Shouldn't you be leaving soon, Lyle? Cavell's right. It's getting late. No, it's fine. Tilly will barge in any minute. The dolls looked at each other with troubled expressions. Yeah. She's not coming. Lyle let out a sigh. He must have really upset her. We're sorry, Lyle. It's all our fault. Lyle patted the top of Rook's head reassuringly. No, it's mine. Well, if she won't come to us, we're going to her.
Uh-huh. You look ready for action, kiddo.
You mean we don't have to stay home today? Transform before I change my mind. Some popping sounds were heard and the 5 figures disappeared, leaving behind plush versions of themselves on the kitchen floor. Lyle quickly stuffed the dolls into his backpack and swung it over his shoulder as he darted out of the house. Lyle barely made it to class. He slid in at the last moment and collapsed in his chair just before the teacher arrived. Tilly sat quietly at her desk in front of him, unusually still. He knew she was furious with him. He considered tapping her on the shoulder, but decided against it. No, he needed a better plan. He bit his lip in contemplation as he weighed his options. Oh, okay. Have the dolls transform outside, let the dolls transform inside the building, better wait until after school. Oh. I need more details. Because what does outside mean? The same as inside, like where? I would assume Lyle is smart enough to choose a place that's that not so many people come around. Like we won't do it in the classroom even if people have left, because they could always come back to get some things. And after school is, I don't know, isn't that more of a given? But then maybe Tilly will leave? If that's an option. Oh, tricky. I would have thought if he went to the trouble of taking the dolls to school, that he would do it here, but outside doesn't seem that smart. I would think inside maybe some room where you know that not many people are going to come by. Let me do a sneaky save, to be sure. Yeah, I'll go with let the dolls transform inside the building. Whatever that means, we'll see. Lyle decided that the best plan of action was to let the dolls transform inside the building. It was a risky plan, but it had a high chance of success. If he had them transform outside, there was no guarantee that Tilly would notice them, and if he waited until after school, they might miss the opportunity entirely. Yeah, with the first one, I don't really know what that scenario means, what he's envisioning here, but the second part, yeah, that's what I fear, that she might go home and we don't even get the chance. So, yeah. When the lunch bell rang, Tilly stood up and stormed off, which suited Lyle just fine. He needed time to go over his master plan for with the dolls. He snatched up his school bag and shuffled sneakily into the men's restroom. After taking a quick look under the stalls to make sure he was alone, Lyle removed the dolls from his bag and asked them to transform into their human forms. Okay, that's a choice of a place, but okay. The restroom, really. You should feel right at home here with toilets. Eh? You know, now's probably not the best time for... Is it cause his hair is yellow or because he has a potty mouth? Good one. Rook, please don't make things worse. Listen, we don't have much time. Here's the plan. Tilly is somewhere in this building. We've got to split up and find her. She only needs to catch a glimpse of one of you. That'll be enough for her to come asking questions. She's seen you guys as dolls before, so I'm sure she'll recognize you. I'm sure of it. Well, if it's just one of them, I don't know if she'd recognize them. Or 5 maybe, but 1? Like, imagine it. If you ever saw just one doll, one time, basically, and then someone was walking around who looked similar, would you really notice? Might depend on the design. But okay, sure, let's go with this master plan. Anyway, we only have a short period of time before the lunch break is over, so we've got to move fast. Oh, and if a teacher spots you without a visitor pass, you'll be kicked off the property, so be careful. Especially you, Decifer. You'll probably be arrested. Lyle glared at the shirtless Decifer. The doll shrugged with a smug look on his face. Some voices were heard outside the restroom door. I gotta go. Meet me back at the classroom in 20 minutes, okay? Stick to the plan. With that, Lyle sped out of the men's room, and the dolls were left alone with their vague instructions. Yeah. So, which one is Lyle's classroom? Oh boy. Lyle ran through the halls in search of Tilly, occasionally stopping to ask people if they'd seen her, or to poke his head into open classrooms. He even asked someone to check the women's restroom, but there was no sign of her anywhere. Just when he was about to give up, Lyle heard a commotion nearby. Aww! He's so cute! As Lyle rounded the corner, he spotted Rook with a group of giggling girls. Have you seen my big sister around here? She's tall and super pretty, just like you. Is he for real? Lyle shook his head. He couldn't waste time here. At least Rook was asking for information. He might just attract Tilly's attention after all. Lyle continued his search and heard a familiar voice as he was passing one of the nearby classrooms. And that, prized pupils, is how it's done. Any questions? Lyle spun around and barged into the classroom, spotting Carvel at the chalkboard tutoring students during the lunch break. Bold, but okay. What are you doing? Mathematics. Carvel grinned proudly. Shouldn't you be looking for someone? I think Ellery mentioned something about that. Carvel genuinely seemed to search his memory. Lyle was astounded that the doll had forgotten his mission so easily. He's in the art room if you need him. Art room? That's it. Lyle remembered catching Tilly doodling in her notebook the first day of school. Maybe she was drawing in the art room during her lunch break. He knew it was a bit of a stretch, but it was the only lead he had. No, that isn't effective. Ellery was speaking with someone inside. Was Tilly there with him? Ah, here we are. Yes, good. Lyle peered into the room and spotted Ellery alone, scribbling on a canvas. Not only was the doll talking to himself, but his drawing was hilariously terrible. Hey, everyone needs to start somewhere. Lyle managed to suppress his laughter and decided to continue his search for the others. Maybe Torin and Decipher had better luck finding her. Lyle stumbled upon a swarm of squealing students down the hall. Even though Tilly didn't seem the type, Lyle decided to look through the crowd just in case she happened to be hiding among them. As he approached, he overheard some classmates venting outside of the circle. Who do they think they are? Where are their uniforms? Are they even students here? Lyle slowly managed to work his way through the crowd to see what all the commotion was about. Of course. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, his ears are pierced. Are you in a band? Get off me. Aren't you cold without a shirt on? Actually, my body's quite warm. Would you like to feel? Lyle's eye twitched irritably. His master plan was a complete and utter failure. He would need to come up with something after school. But the master plan, how could that go wrong? It was late in the afternoon and Lyle wandered about town alone. He'd met up with the dolls following their failed mission, and after a light scolding for their reckless behavior and an apology for his poor direction, sent them on home ahead of him. Lyle stuffed his hands into his pant pockets and strolled aimlessly, trying to come up with another plan. After some time, he found himself standing in front of the small toy shop he had stumbled upon before. He glanced up at the rustic-looking sign with a soft smile. This was the perfect opportunity to clear his head. Wow, all those details in this. Nice. A small bell rang as he opened the door and entered the quaint shop. Lyle appeared to be alone inside, but he knew the door chime would eventually summon an employee. He hoped the old man was working and browsed the shelves as he waited for his arrival. The shop was filled to the brim with vintage toys, all of which appeared to be handmade. Lyle picked up a wooden car and examined it. The toy had a simplistic look, nothing like the advanced remote control cars out there now. Despite its humble appearance, the car worked wonderfully. Its wheels rotated smoothly, and the wood had a nice finish. Lyle couldn't help but smile as he wheeled it around the shop, looking at the other toys as he did so. Well now. Lyle turned to see the old man emerging from the back room near the checkout corner. Counter. Wow, I can read. I was wondering... What kind of voice? Oh god. I was wondering when you were going to visit me. Oh, hello. Is that the one you like best? The old man pointed at the wooden car in Lyle's hand. This? Oh, no, I was just checking it out. Lyle returned the toy to its proper place on the shelf and approached the old man. You don't see toys like this anymore. Did you make all of these? The old man nodded with a kind smile. I like them a lot. Everything's really well made. The old man chuckled. "Thank you, young man." "My name's Lyle." Lyle held out his hand for a shake, and the old man took it graciously. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Lyle. I'm Mr. Mendoza." As they shook hands, Lyle could feel a lifetime of hard work in the old man's calloused fingers and rough palm, of which Mr. Mendoza was surely proud of. "I could learn a thing or two from you, Mr. Mendoza. I made some, toys myself recently." "Is that so?" Lyle could tell Mr. Mendoza was pleasantly surprised. "Cars, boats, puppets, maybe a jack-in-the-box, hmm?" Mr. Mendoza seemed eager to hear more as he prodded Lyle gently with his cane. He probably didn't get the opportunity to talk about toy making very often. "Actually, I made some dolls." "Ah, oh gosh. Munesa, Quitapiena?"
I have no idea.
Spanish?
Oh, what's that?
Worry dolls. Come, let me show you. Right, I do have some of those as well, the tiny ones. Lyle followed Mr. Mendoza to a table across the shop. On top of the table sat a basket filled with tiny handmade dolls, no bigger than a finger. The dolls were made of scrap fabric and colorful wool. They had a surprising amount of detail, despite their miniature size. Lyle picked one up using his index finger and thumb and brought it close to his face to better examine its tiny details. "Wow, they're so small." "Yes, but they have great power." "What do you mean? How so?" "These dolls come from my home country. If you tell the worry dolls about your fears and sorrows, they shall take them away from you." "Does that really work?" "You tell me. You made some worry dolls yourself, didn't you?" "Well, they don't look anything like these dolls." Lyle returned the little figure to the basket. "It's not the same." "Sure it is. All dolls can be listeners. Have you shared your worries with your dolls? Have they helped you?" Lyle thought about it for a moment, but before he could answer, a voice called out from the shop's back room. "Mendoza!"
No, what was her voice again? Also, I know I'm probably mispronouncing his name as well.
Tilly emerged carrying a large cardboard box. "Where do you want this box of?" Tilly froze, spotting Lyle with Mr. Mendoza across the shop. Her eyes narrowed. She dropped the box on the checkout counter and stormed over to where Lyle was standing. "Are you stalking me or what?" "Stalking? I didn't know you were gonna be here." "Well, if you can have secrets, I can too." "Oh, would you just..." "Mendoza, why'd you have to let..." Mr. Mendoza slammed his cane down onto the wooden floor, scaring Lyle and Tilly into silence. "Such nonsense!" Tilly crossed her arms and pouted like a child. She must have been accustomed to being reprimanded? I'm in trouble today. To being reprimanded by the old man? Lyle, however, held his chest, still trying to calm his nerves after the large bang. You two are friends?
Both Lyle and Tilly nodded without looking at each other.
Then be honest with your feelings and talk this out.
Mr. Mendoza pointed at the toy shop's front door with his cane.
Go on, then.
Tilly hung her head and reluctantly shuffled out of the toy shop. As Lyle went to join her, Mr. Mendoza placed a gentle hand on his shoulder.
Bring your dolls next time,
Mr. Mendoza smiled warmly. Lyle nodded, then ran outside to catch up with Tilly. Neither Lyle nor Tilly knew what to say to each other. They walked in silence for a short time, until Lyle finally spoke up. So, working at a toy store, huh? Tilly sighed at Lyle's question. Its answer was obvious.
I don't have a set schedule or anything. I just kind of show up and help when I have free time. Mendoza's real laid back.
Sounds like a great person to work for.
Yeah, he's alright.
Lyle stuffed his hands into his pockets, and Tilly stared at the ground as they continued to make their way home. There was another awkward silence, but Tilly was the one to break it this time.
Listen, I'm sorry I hounded you, but...
Tilly stopped walking. She wore a complicated expression. She must have been trying to find her words.
Please don't lie to me. It's not fair. Aren't we friends?
Her eyes welled with tears, taking Lyle by surprise. Maybe there was more to Tilly than he thought. Sure, she was the class clown, and everyone seemed to like her well enough. But how many close friends did she really have? Maybe the reason why she latched onto Lyle so quickly was because he was a fresh start for her, an opportunity for Tilly to be herself. She was a fresh start for him too. They needed to trust each other. Of course we're friends. I'm sorry I lied to you. You're right, I haven't been fair, but I want to fix it. To do that, I need you to trust me. Can you? Tilly nodded. Okay, follow me. Lyle ran ahead.
Hey, wait up! Now who has too much energy?
Lyle swallowed hard as he entered the house, hoping the dolls had found their way back safely, and happened to be waiting inside for him. Cole's car was nowhere to be found, so it was the perfect opportunity, and likely last chance, to prove his story to Tilly, who followed close behind. They went upstairs, and Lyle stopped in front of his closed bedroom door. What's up? Please be in there. He turned the knob and swung the door open wide, hoping to reveal the 5 dolls in their human forms on the other side. The room was empty. He shouldn't have sent the dolls home on their own. How could he have been so irresponsible? What if they were still lost in town? Now not only did he have to explain the current situation to Tilly, but he also had to go back out in search of them. Yeah, but they're always surprising you in some way, aren't they? Defeated, Lyle approached his bed and fell back on it, wondering where the dolls could have gone. He stared up at the ceiling, contemplating his next move.
Well, that was fun. Care to explain? I'm not sure how. Tilly sat beside him on the edge of the bed. You know, sometimes my brain works better when my hands are busy doing something. Here, maybe this will help. She tossed something over to Lyle, and it landed on his chest with a soft bounce. He idly glanced down at the item and saw Carvel's mismatched button eyes staring back at him. He sat up with a jolt and turned to Tilly, who was fiddling with Rook's plush form in her hands. Where did you get these? Calm down, will ya? I've seen them before, remember? You really shouldn't leave your stuff on the floor. Tilly pointed across the room at the 3 remaining dolls scattered about on the floor. Lyle had been so focused on showing her their human forms that he hadn't even thought to look for their plush versions. Oh, Lyle. Bit overwhelmed with everything, are you? Speaking of which, don't tell me those boxes are from moving day. You still haven't unpacked everything yet? They're all here. What? Your moving boxes? Lyle swept Rook from Tilly's hands and placed both him and Carvel on the floor next to the other dolls. He lined them up carefully beside each other, so Tilly could get the best possible view of their upcoming transformation. Okay, you're being super weird right now. If you're just trying to get out of being honest with me, it won't work. I won't let you off the hook that easily. Tilly, everything I said at the library was true, and I'll prove it to you. Right now. Don't freak out, okay? Freak out about... The familiar pops of the doll's transformation sounded off, and suddenly 5 strangers appeared before Tilly's eyes. It was the last thing she saw before blacking out. Oh, poor girl. Oh, that was it, okay. Will Lyle fall in love with one of these dolls turned human? What is the nature of their existence? Can he keep them a secret from his brother forever? I doubt it. If you enjoyed this extended demo, please consider supporting the full release. Thank you for playing Doki Doki Dollmaker. And thank you all for watching so far. The features are listed here for you. You have the 5 romance options, of course, and a total of 8 different endings and optional 18+ epilogues. So yeah, that I suppose was it. Here are the credits, the wonderful people who made this game, which you can buy the full version. It's been out for a while already. The link is in the description below to the shop page on itch. And yep, that is it for the extended demo. I wasn't quite sure how long it was. Like I asked one of the people over on Twitter, but you never know. People have different reading speeds and everything, so yeah, always a bit hard to see. And I'm also sorry that this episode was a bit late, but that's life. Yeah. So yeah, from my side, I thought it's a really cute setting design anyway. As I said before, I did recognize the artist, or one of the artists that worked on this, by the style. And yeah, I personally will definitely play the full game. And again, the first one I would want to go with is Ellery. But I think for the channel I will leave it at the demo, just to give you a bit of an idea what the game is like. And so if you're interested, play it yourself, yeah, go check out the link down below and get the full game for yourself. Yeah, that's it from my side then. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until next time, bye bye!